Welcome to Bison Information Network News. I'm Casey McCarty.
And I'm Abby Furchner. Last year, former NDSU starting quarterback and four-time FCS national champion Carson Wentz was drafted second overall in the NFL draft.
This year, no NDSU players are expected to go in the top 10, but the NFL draft is about to be underway. Bison Information Network sports reporter Eric Bunnell is live at Herd and Horns with more on the draft. Eric?
Thanks, guys. We are live at Herd and Horns for the 2017 NFL Draft. I'm here with my guest at this time, Nick Furch. Nick, last year you were here. Obviously, I wasn't. I was back in Wisconsin, hoping for Carson to go number 2 overall. He did. What was the atmosphere like around the Fargo area, the NDSU community, and even in Herd and Horns?
Yeah, definitely. It was really crazy here. No place was packed. Had fans all over the place. Pretty sure they're past capacity. So a whole place was full. Campus was buzzing. Fargo was buzzing. North Dakota as a whole was buzzing. So it was really nice to see him go second overall. It was also really nice to see, what he did when he went second overall, throwing for nearly 4,000 yards with a not so great receiving core in Philly. Obviously, they improved that with Alshon Jeffrey as well as Torrey Smith. So it's nice to see that. It's nice to see what he's done with his rookie year. Going to be really exciting to see what he's going to do throughout that. But kind of thinking back to last year at this time, the buzz, it's not the same, but, it's still NFL draft night.
Exactly, NFL draft night. Now let's talk about, on the topic of QBs, Deshaun Watson, 28-2 overall, over 10,000 yards passing, 90 touchdowns, only 32 interceptions in his career, and a 2017 national champion. Would you want to start your franchise around that quarterback, or would you go the other quarterbacks? I
think the stats speak for themselves, very winning as a quarterback, a very high win percentage, won a national championship. He's done it all at Clemson. Dabo Swinney was his head coach, so obviously, he has a coach that has helped him with that winning mentality. I think he's the only real option that you have at number 1 overall quarterback in this draft.
And now, Mitch Trubisky, a guy who went from late first round, early second round, he's vaulting all the way up to that number 1 spot potentially. Last year, he kind of reminded me of Carson, how Carson was floating around that late first round, early second, and now only one season as a starter, though. He's 8-5, over just under 4,000 yards passing. He's proven that he can run the pro-style offense, but he doesn't have that as much option as Deshaun Watson has.
Yeah, definitely. When you think of UNC, you think of basketball. We just saw what they did. So, as a basketball school, so it's kind of crazy to think of a UNC quarterback possibly going number 1 quarterback overall. I'm not fully sold on him yet. He just had that 1 year as a starter, but you never know. He could easily fall back. It looks like the Cleveland Browns are looking at him, which, take that as you will. But, he could still go number 1, possibly number 2 overall quarterback in this draft.
And now just recently popping up this past week, Jabril Peppers and Jaron Conley, with Jabril Peppers having a diluted sample and Jaron Conley being tested for the rape. What is that going to do to their draft stock?
Obviously, anytime you have any sort of allegation, whether it's with drugs or sexual assault, anything like that, you're going to have multiple question marks. So, whether it's actually going to affect their draft stock a lot, NFL teams have to decide. Is their off-field issues worth the gamble? Are they going to benefit your team? So it'll be very interesting to see what they do with that. I think they're going to slide. How far they slide, it all just kind of depends.
Yeah, and like you said, Jabril Peppers, he can play anything. He can play wide receiver, linebacker, safety, corner, whatever you want him to play. So he could still potentially be sitting in that first round, top 10, top 15 pick, or you could see him slide all the way down to even the second day.
Yeah, it's crazy to think that he's starting as a DB at Michigan, went to safety. He's going into the draft as a linebacker, but he can do everything. So very talented guy. I still think Myles Garrett is going to go number 1 overall. We're probably going to be getting that here in shortly from the Browns. So Jabril Peppers, really good. I still think you're going to have Myles Garrett going number 1 overall, though.
All right, thank you, guys. We will have it updated later in sports, whether Myles Garrett went number 1 or Mitch Trubisky. Back to you guys in the studio.
Hey, thanks, Eric. A sugary surprise is coming to NDSU. Starbucks Coffee will officially open a store south of campus. It is going to be located in Bison Block, directly south of Menard Hall across 12th Avenue North. The building also contains Jimmy John's, Herd and Horns, Spicy Pie, and the Bin Studio. It'll be located at the West End Camp in the currently vacant spot.
But having them come here, of course, Starbucks has huge name brand recognition. It's probably one of the top 5 countries in the companies inside the United States. So I'm sure that it'll provide a great product for the students, and I'm certainly looking forward to it. I hope you guys are too.
Construction is set to begin in the next 30 days, and it will be completed by September 1st, around the start of the next school year.
This week's NDSU Saddle and Sirloin Club hosted Kiddie Days. The Shepherd Arena featured some of the animals common in agriculture. This program is to educate kids about the importance of agriculture and its effects on their world. The event was directed at Fargo-Moorhead area elementary schools.
Excited to teach these kids everything we can, and in a short, they only are here for a half hour, but if we can teach them even just a little bit of something, it's definitely worth it, because agriculture is happening all around us, and sometimes I don't think these kids will ever get to see animals if it weren't for us.
The final showing will be Friday at noon and 1:30 in Shepherd Arena.
Seniors, sell your extra Scantrons while you can. Student government has confirmed a deal with the Provost's office to provide free Scantrons to all NDSU students next year. The deal is set at about $12,000 and will be entirely covered by the Provost's office. The bookstore will also not be restocking on Scantrons.
We're going to take a break, but when we come back, a look at President Trump's tax plan.
Also, a look at a new sport sweeping the nation after this week's 7-day forecast.
A major announcement on tax cuts Wednesday. The White House calls it a big boost to middle-income families.
But the president's proposal could also lead to a big increase in the federal deficit. Jim Acosta has details.
Get ready for Trumponomics.
We're returning power back to the people.
Just before he hits 100 days in office, President Trump is unveiling a tax plan that would be a boon to big business and potentially make the deficit go boom.
So this is going to be the biggest tax cut and the largest tax reform in the history of our country, and we are committed to seeing this through.
The White House tax plan includes what officials are calling tax relief for middle-income families and help with child care costs through the tax code, as well as a massive reduction in the corporate tax rate, which would plummet to 15%. That tax relief for middle-income families would come in the form of doubling the standard deduction and creating 3 basic tax rates, while repealing the alternative minimum tax and estate tax, a big break for wealthier Americans. The Trump administration would pay for those cuts by eliminating some deductions, but not on mortgages or charitable giving, raising the big question raised even by fellow Republicans: just how is the White House going to pay for any of this?
Will it pay for itself? Again, I think, as we've said, we're working on lots of details as to this. We have over 100 people in the Treasury that have been working on tax and scoring lots of different scenarios. This will pay for itself with growth.
During the campaign, then candidate Trump promised to eliminate the national debt.
I will bring our energy companies back. They'll be able to compete. They'll make money. They'll pay off our national debt. They'll pay off our tremendous budget deficits, which are tremendous.
And he slammed President Obama for failing to bring the debt under control.
We've doubled our national debt to $20 trillion under President Obama. In less than 8 years, $10 trillion has been added. Think of it. And we haven't fixed anything.
Democrats blasted the White House tax plan as wildly unrealistic. Another example, they say, of providing too little detail about the president's proposals.
The fabricator-in-chief can't talk his way through the next 4 years.
But the White House is offering to make good on one campaign vow, warning that it is now considering withdrawing from NAFTA, the Clinton-era free trade agreement with Canada and Mexico that angered so many Trump voters. For the president, that would be a promise fulfilled.
And if they don't agree to a renegotiation, then I will submit under Article 2205 of the NAFTA agreement that America intends to withdraw from the deal.
Big news coming out of ESPN this past week. They have announced that they are laying off 100 journalists. Notable employees that have already been laid off are Ed Werder, Dana O'Neill, Trent Dilfer, Danny Cannell, Jason Stark, Roger Kosak, Jay Crawford, Brett McMurphy, and Jesse Temple.
Last week was Greek Week for the fraternity and sorority community here at The event this year revolved around a Harry Potter theme. Bison Information Network news reporter Lucas Brown went out to get the rising recreational sport Quidditch a try.
It's Greek Week here at NDSU, and among the most popular events we have here Quidditch with a bunch of fraternities and sororities here. Here I'm going to be learning how to play this game outside of the books. We'll see what happens. And now I have with me now Emily, who is a Greek Week coordinator of this event. How are you doing today?
I'm doing really well. How are you?
I'm doing just fine. So, not many people know the rules of this game. Could you just give me a little insight of what?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's 3 types of players. There's chasers, there's beaters, and then there's the seeker. I guess there's the keeper too, but the keeper kind of just makes sure that the chasers don't score. They don't do any running around.
With the use of white and yellow balls, both teams try to score on one of the opposing 3 rings. Every score is worth 10 points, and the game ends once the snitch is caught, which is worth 30 points.
Throw it at them, don't hurt them.
Before the real game begins, I decided to try this out for myself.
That's a goal. You know anything of the Harry Potter series? Have you read the books?
I saw the first 4 movies. I haven't seen anything since they came out before that. That's been about it. Yeah.
So, with that being said, are you at all confident with your team's ability to win today?
I know that we're Slytherin and we're supposed to cheat, so I think we're going to win.
How long has an event like this been happening?
This is the first time we're trying it.
The first time?
Yep, we do a tournament of some form every Greek Week. Usually it's volleyball, sometimes it's softball, but this year since we went with the Harry Potter theme, we wanted to go with Quidditch, and so we're giving it a shot.
While the Quidditch here is adapted to make a fun game, it has evolved into an international recreational sport. There is even work being made in expanding the sport to elementary, middle, and high school levels.
Well, today's been a day. I just learned a new sport and I've contributed to Greek Week. Live from Churchill Field, I'm Lucas Brown reporting for Bison Information Network News.
Greek Week ended with an awards ceremony to the Hogwarts house who claimed the highest total points after all of the events. Over 900 people were involved and worked to make Greek life happen.
Spring is underway and the weather for the most part is warming up again. With it comes typical spring activities such as barbecuing, being outside, and golfing. BIN News reporter Casey McCarty went out to Maple River Golf Course to get back in the swing of things.
We took to Maple River Golf Course Wednesday, beginning our day on the driving range. Dave Schultz, a former professional golfer and golf pro at Maple River, was my instructor.
Let's bring this hand over the top to where this V, better. This V is pointed right to the center of your chest. Go ahead. Right center of the fairway. We want a square club face at address.
After a little more instruction, I was starting to get in my groove. It only came after a few wonderfully executed bad hits, though.
That looks like a good one to end on. You know where we should go?
Where?
Where you hit more than half your golf shots.
I've never been good at putting, usually taking at least 3 putts to make my ball go in the hole. As it turns out, I hit the ball way too hard.
The more we get the golf ball to lose speed at the hole, the more of a chance that we have to make the putt. Good. Get in there. Nice. That was perfect. Had the putting green. I guess the last thing we can do, the tee's open.
I decided to take my newly trained skills out on the real course. But first, Dave gave me some lessons on how to get into golf if you're a beginner.
Go to your local range, get a bucket of balls, and just go have some fun and see if you can, make contact. Just give it a shot, have some fun, you grab a couple buckets of balls, start that way. You're aimed well, looks good. let her rip.
Double check everything. Go back. And miss the green.
Nice shot.
Casey McCarty, Bison Information Network News.
Maple River does offer a $300 all-year pass for people aged 18 to 22. The course also offers a deal of 18 holes and a cart for $25 before noon on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Fridays.
And now, coming up after the break, this week's Hollywood and Health Minutes.
Stay tuned. Today in entertainment news, we've got the latest on some big upcoming movies and one really weird movie. Here's David Daniel with the Hollywood Minute.
If anticipating Star Wars The Last Jedi coming in December isn't enough for you, Disney is aiming to whet your appetite. The studio has announced the follow-up, Star Wars Episode 9, will hit theaters on May 24th, 2019. Disney also revealed release dates for other big films. A live-action version of The Lion King is set to arrive in July of 2019. The sequel to the smash hit Frozen will debut in November of 2019. And a fifth Indiana Jones movie is slated for July 10th, 2020, with Steven Spielberg directing and Harrison Ford, who'll be nearly 78 years old when the film opens, back as Indy.
I would like to talk to you and explain this.
This is not David Hasselhoff. It's the Hoffbot. The new short film, It's No Game, is about writers learning an artificial intelligence algorithm will write all future movies. Of course, Hasselhoff plays the Hoffbot, but all of his lines and much of the movie were written by an algorithm. The future may be closer than we think. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
And when we come back, Bison Information Network sports reporter Heather Viker will have the latest.
We'll be right back.
The North Dakota State Bison concluded spring practices this past week with their annual spring football game. One standout who saw limited action last year due to the strong presence of 3 running backs ahead of him was running back Ty Brooks. Brooks was able to rush for 104 yards on only 8 carries, and he also had 2 touchdowns. His longest attempt of the day was 60 yards, which went for a touchdown. Along with Brooks, Demarius Purifoy rushed for 81 yards on 11 carries. Purifoy converted a critical 3rd and 1 for the offense that went for 27 yards for a touchdown to put the Gold ahead 18-7. After Purifoy's touchdown, the defense got 3 sacks on the next drive from Greg Menard, Jabril Cox, and Cole Karch to close the deficit to 2 points. At the half, the offense led 18-16. Toward the end of the second half, an illegal formation penalty negated a touchdown, and the defense pulled within 32-28. The offense went on to win the game 33-31. The Bison will open their 2017 campaign on September 2nd against Mississippi Valley State at home. Let's hear from head coach Chris Kleiman on what he took away from this spring game.
Our guys, especially our young guys, had a nice day out there. Ty and Damaris and James Hendricks with a big pick, and our offensive line I thought did some really good things with some young guys up front, and a couple things jump out. Cole Karch does a nice job against a really good veteran offensive line, pushing the pocket, getting a sack, and so.
Dexter Werner, a former NDSU basketball player, is not yet done representing the Bison. He has decided to join the track and field team and will be throwing javelin for the rest of the year. Breaking news, Myles Garrett out of Texas A&M selected #1 overall to the Cleveland Browns. What do you guys think of the pick?
You know, I'm not a big football guy out of season, but it'll definitely help out my fantasy team. So that's something to look forward to. Now we're going to take a little break, but when we come back, we're going to look at a light pollution and a neat bowling feat.
But for right now, we're now going to take stay tuned. A guy bowls a perfect 300 in a minute and a half.
And a cop joins a party instead of shutting one down. Coming up in today's Take a Look at This.
Syracuse bowler Ben Catola was able to pull off 2 feats at once. He not only bowled a perfect 300 in under 90 seconds by rolling 12 straight strikes on 10 straight lanes, but he also managed to remind the rest of us just how bad we are at bowling at the same time. This guy's a double threat. Catola pulled off the feat by running from lane to lane, knocking down strikes in this video that's been compressed for time. Speaking of time-lapse videos, a spectacular new time-lapse photography experiment gives new meaning to Dancing with the Stars. Photo artists and filmmakers teamed up to produce Sky Glow, a series of videos aimed at highlighting the beauty of North America's night skies. The project took over 3 years and produced more than 3 million images from places like Hawaii, California, and Canada. The project hopes to spread awareness of light pollution, a byproduct of growing cities they say threatens the natural beauty of our skies. A San Antonio police officer responding to a loud party ended up joining the party. A group of kids were having a dance-off event when the cops were called due to the noise. After they arrived, one officer surprised everyone by joining in and showing the kids some salsa moves. The parents said with some officers getting a bad rap these days, it was nice to see the fun side of our friends in law enforcement. But take a look at this. I'm Jeremy Roth.
Thank you for watching the final edition of this semester's Bison Information Network News.
We would like to give a special thank you to our seniors who will be graduating in May. Those seniors are Casey McCarty, Abby Furchner, Angus Stout, and Lucas Brown.
And thank you to Cable One and Herd and Horns for partnering with us this semester. We'll see you back next year with new faces and a new crew. Good luck on finals and have a great summer break.